Welcome to Move Activations webinar. If you're ready, we can get right into it. Have your glass of water next to you. Remember, if you're outside, to be barefoot, feet flat on the ground. If you're inside, make sure your feet are flat on the ground. Make sure your palms are up. And breathe. Long, slow, deep breaths into your body. Breathe in for the count of 3. Excuse me, hold for the count of 3. And then release for 5. Trees are beautiful. I did a activation earlier, but I said too much, so I couldn't use it. And I didn't know if I was going to be able to make it out here to the middle. Because serious pain from my fall. I don't want to get surgery, but I slipped and fell on June 17th, which was a Wednesday morning before work. And 3 hours later, my whole hand blew up. I had a whole lump on my hand that was just yellow and green. And it was yellow and green from my knuckles all the way to my elbow and swollen. And I was thinking I can go into work that day, but 3 hours later I couldn't. There was no way I could shake that off. I'm trying to avoid surgery because I really don't want it. So I have to go for therapy for my hand so I can use my fingers, because right now I can't make fists, and you can make them, I can't make them touch each other. I try to pick up things with it and I can't yet, so maybe it's too early, I don't know. But I just wanted you to know why, with what's happening if I'm not doing it every day or at a certain time. So if you're ready, we can begin. Ashtika. Ilika. Ishtika. Breathe that in. And when you're ready, come slowly back into your body. Have a shower, drink plenty of water, ground yourself, spend lots of time in nature, and repeat 3 to 7 times a day. Or follow your heart, see what your heart says. If you're feeling a little off emotionally, just to sit with it and repeat the activations. The more you do it, the better you get. If you're able to silence your mind, it's even better. It's really important you do this. Why? Because I have said this in the other session, but I haven't really brought it up. When you do these sessions, you give consent to receive. You can either say it out loud, say it to yourself, however you want to say yes, you give your consent. Nod your head, whatever you feel like. This, like I had mentioned the other day, this is a revolution. And it's all about your reality. And if you've never done anything like this before, and you found your way here, thank your heart, thank your higher self for bringing you here, and that you listened and you stayed. Because there's a lot going on in the world that people know not about. And the only way you are going to know yourself is by going within. And really quieting down the mind. If you grasp onto every thought, then you are being controlled. The whole point is for you not to be a slave to your mind, and for you to spend more alone time in nature. That way, this eliminates distractions, interferences, intrusions, and drama. And aren't we all fed up with drama queens? And when you have quieted down your mind and you're able to do it for an hour or longer, you're able to do it in the middle of a busy airport, that's even better. Then you're able to move on to the next level. Now, a lot of people want to make fun because that's what we've been doing, is focusing on raising your vibration, stilling your mind, feeling more and thinking less, but they don't know how important it truly is and all the reasons why. And now it's peaceful out here. It's so quiet. This is when I like to do the activations. There's nobody around. Please like, share, and subscribe. The more people this reaches, the better. If you'd like me to do an energy reading, send me a photo. And if you have any comments or anything you care to share, please send it to my email at riinadhabsburg@gmail.com. If you want to take notes on your progress to see how far along you've come, or if you're just beginning and you want to take notes, that way you can take a look after you've been staying on top of these activations for a while, that's great too. You want to be able to, when you're doing these sessions, to locate what you're feeling and where you're feeling it in your body. Excuse me. And if you're able to sit in the middle of a busy airport and still your mind for an hour or more, you could sit with your eyes closed or open and watch what happens. Just take notes. Did you know that there are people on the planet who haven't had anything to eat or drink in 14 years? Now that's great control over your own being. If you don't have that, then, excuse me, if you don't have that, follow your heart and see what your heart is guiding you to do. Because there's a lot of things going on in the world. Being in the world and of the world is a scary place to be. Not having God in your life is a scary place to be. Not having Jesus in your life is a scary place to be. Sometimes when I start talking, I see too much. But I can't help it because there's too many things going on in the world for me not to mention it. It doesn't help you not to know because what you don't know does hurt you. Now, here's a couple things that the earth and the wildlife and others need all of us to come together to do. On earthjustice.org, please use your voice and your signature and anything else to say no to oil drilling in the Arctic. Make sure that the Arctic refugee remains permanently free and pristine. Let it remain wild forever. Also, we need to use our voice again and our signature and whatever other means to eliminate, I think it's called cyanide 44 bombs, which they use on animals that they want to eliminate. And that is an inhumane way, and nobody should be looking to do that. They need us, they're counting on us to protect them. Please do so. If you love them, protect them. Go on earthjustice.org, on IFAW, and see what's there. Also, the whaling in Iceland has been banned. It's been banned for the past 40 years. And it was just up for it again this year, but that is now called off. That doesn't mean it's permanent. You want to make the ban on whaling permanent and forever. The whales are not just a food source. They're more important than that. And what they are doing, we need every whale we can get. So please do what you can to use your voice and your signature and anything else to say, to keep the ban on whaling permanent and let the whales live free. Also, and that might be on earthjustice.org or on IFAW, you want to check it out. Also, once again, the seal hunt, they're at it again. They need our signature and they need our voice and anything else that we can do to say no to the seal hunt and make that permanent and forever. Also, you want to speak out against, use your signature and your voice to say no to factory farming. It's either on earthjustice.org or IFAW. Could be PETA, could be Greenpeace. You want to check them all out. I'm sure there's a couple others that I don't know about, but you can have a look. They need us to protect them. They are relying on us. We are their voice. Please do what you can to protect them. If you love them, use your signature, use your voice, use whatever you can to protect them. And the only way to win this is if all of us come together and say, no more, we're not putting up with this. Also, the earthquakes in Venezuela, people need help over there, and so do the animals. And check that out and see what you can do with that. Your signature, your voice, whatever. Please have a look. And we need to stop clear cutting. The trees need to remain here permanently to live wild and free, not for corporations or lame businesses to be selective as to what tree stays and what tree goes, or what tree to plant to make a grand entrance to whatever business or corporation that they have. I, for one, am so tired of this. If you don't protect the trees and speak out for the trees and stop the clear cutting, then when they're gone, you have nobody to blame but yourself because you chose to look the other way rather than use your voice, use your signature, and any other means to protect them. And believe me, if you don't, that will haunt you for the rest of your life, because there was someone that had the opportunity to save a bunch of trees that was near him. He could have used his voice and say, no, I want to keep these trees. He did nothing. That night he went to sleep. He had a dream that the trees said goodbye to him. And now he regrets not doing anything to keep them and prevent them from being cut down. Let me also share something with you. Up the street here, there was a fishing boat business that did not consult with the people who lived in the area and asked them if it was okay to expand their business and cut those trees down. They just put up a green fence so nobody knew what they were doing, and overnight clear cut so they can expand their fishing boat business. Well, I knew what was going to happen to them because they did that. Number one, they committed a crime against nature. Number two, they committed a crime against humanity, because now what is the quality of life now that you cut down those trees? So what's recently happened with this fishing boat business? They had to downsize and move down the street to a smaller lot. So now they're hoping to make some money on the land that they clear cut. But anyone who buys that land is going to be sorry that they did, because they clear cut without consulting the people who live in that area, and they had no regard for the wildlife. This is a very serious matter that not a lot of people know about, because they clear cut and didn't consider the planet. Mother Gaia is a living, breathing being. And you think that you and your business is just going to come along and clear cut for a profit in 2026. Those days are over. Now, we had a corporation here who wanted to take over this area. So they were buying plots of land against what the people in this area wanted. Hi. And they bought this land. People wanted to keep it wild and free. They voted no to clear cutting. And they went to Tallahassee to get the permit to go over the people's heads. They got the permit, they clear cutted, nobody wanted that. Just so that they can take over a whole area and try to put out all the other businesses like them out of business. But people don't want more of the same old, same old. This business wasn't doing anything different than what they did previously before, and people are tired of it. Not only that, then they decided to go in the other direction and buy a plot of land up there. What's happened is this corporation is now wanting to charge people more money. Why are you charging people more money if you have opened up more businesses that people voted against you doing? They said, no, we don't want it. And so now they're overcharging people, and people don't want to shop there anymore. And then they had the audacity to put a sign in the middle of the store that they care about the environment after what they did. And they're really not doing much for the community as it is. They're doing more for themselves. And then when you see everything that they throw out and how much goes to a landfill, rather than trying to, figure out ways in which they can dispose of it, or if it's still good, give it to people that really need it, rather than it going to a landfill. Now, what goes around comes around. There's no way they're going to escape this now. People said no to clear cutting. They didn't want another same old, and now they've done that. So, that's on them. And not many people think about the land. They think, oh, let's just clear cut, not thinking about how the planet herself feels about that. And how gentle are you with the earth when you do that? You don't have any regard for it. It's just, you don't care about nature. And then all that lived in nature, how many animals did you take the lives of because you clear cut? You never see that on the news, do you? Oh, well, they came and bulldozed this, and how many animals did they kill to do that? And when you buy paper products, objects, you want to be mindful as to looking at whether they protect the environment, protect the trees or not. If they don't, then you are buying into that business clear cutting, and you are just as responsible as if you've done the clear cutting yourself. This way, no one can say that they did not receive the information when you did. So it's on you what happens. And then the future generations aren't going to remember you for what you did or your name, fame, or status. They're going to think, why didn't you save anything for them? Why didn't you protect nature? Why didn't you protect the trees? Why didn't you protect the wildlife? And what did you do for others who are suffering, who had to lose everything because you had these these war profiteers destroy the lands, the people's homes, and now how are the people living? And what have these war profiteers done? Did they take care of those areas? Did they give back to the people? And how much money is in their pocket, and what is their lifestyle? Those are serious crimes that they'll never escape. And everyone involved with that they'll never escape that. And they have no idea what they destroyed. That's how ignorant they are. In this day and age, you have to be really stupid to think that war is an answer. It's not an answer. That's a tyrant that needs to be yanked out of office. People in the area need to videotape what's going on, where's the money going, and then legally take them to court for all of the horrors that they've committed on their own people. What they like to call themselves a leader of a country, if they're not, they're a public servant. If they're not doing all that they can to provide for their own people or figure out ways in which to do so, then their time is up. Just like the people in France, when they got fed up with that, they went in there with torches and took them out, yanked them out. But the masters taught that peace is the way, not violence, because you never win that way. And with the way the world operates, that's the last thing you want to do. And there are so many things that they are doing to people, and people know nothing about it. That's why it's all the more reason for you to stay on top of these sessions and to be present, to get still, to quiet the mind, to focus on raising your vibration and be committed to it and not question it to death. I seen a woman who had one plate of food, not even enough for her to eat. And she had to divide it between her children, who was going to eat what that day. Nobody should be living like that. Nobody. And the idea of raising all this money and you haven't done anything different but make people wait hours for a plate of food, feeding them behind a bar or however they have it set up. That is inhumane and cruel and really stupid. Some of that money should have went to show these people how to plant their own food so they are independent and not dependent. They don't need to be treated like this. And then you have these people who are the way they show up and think that, by the way they do the delivery with trying to raise money for these people. And they think you can't see through it. Meanwhile, the speaker isn't showing that he's doing anything to help these people, other than trying to collect as much money as he can. When you prove yourself to me that every dime, every penny is going to help these people, then maybe I'll trust you and believe in you. Until then, I don't. That's one thing that's scary, is when you're trusting people with money to give to people who don't have anything. How much money has been going out of this country for who knows how many decades to other countries, and what have those other countries done with that money? How has that money served the highest good of all? Where has every cent went? I don't think none can answer that question. I'm sick of the freeloading. I'm sick of the abuse, the financial abuse. I'm sick of it all. And then the brainwashing of what people should eat, what's safe to eat, what's this, what's that, and it's outrageous that how much they say and deliver untruths just to try to control people's money and their minds. If we all looked at after people, like just in your area, the world would be better off. You're not better just because you have money. You're not better because you talk a certain way and say, oh, well, don't ask someone how your weekend was, because according to certain people, that's not the correct way to speak. You look like an ass because you are only trying to impress those in the world and of the world and try to come across as something superior, and you're not. And when you think about God, do you think that would impress God? How about Jesus? How do you think he'd feel about that? I had one company try to make fun of me today. They sent me some information where they had this dummy come up and make fun because my hand, I fell, and my wrist is cracked in 3 places. So I can't really move my fingers yet, and I'm in a cast. I'm yellow and green from my knuckles to past my elbow, and it's swollen and it's painful. Well, this company thought that they were funny by trying to get this white trash blonde dummy to make fun of me. Now, if they think that's not going to blow up in their face, it most certainly will. Number one, you decide to come at somebody who's been in service to all. Not that you have any clue as to what that is about. All you are is about business. And you know what? Some go up, some come down. And by you doing that, I don't know how you're going to hurt your business now, but what goes around comes around. You didn't show kindness. You didn't try to do anything for that person. You tried to bring them down and hurt them. How pathetic of you, what a pathetic move. In due time, you'll realize that was a big fucking mistake. Excuse my French. I'm not some dummy that doesn't know what's going on here. And then I had people come out of the woodwork, some woman who's a celebrity who gave the finger for no reason. And no matter how good she might have looked in her photo, it just shows you how rotten to the core she is and unkind. She showed who she really was in that moment, and that she was heartless. She's not the only one. Like I said, stand in line and take a number. And there's a bunch of them that I could go on about, but I really don't feel like it because my wrist is pounding right now and I probably should be lying down. But I'm so tired of that. I can't wait till this is behind me and a thing of the past. And I have movements like I've never even fallen and had an injury or broke 3 bones or cracked 3 bones in my wrist. And that was really stupid what I did. I had just finished cleaning the bathroom, then decided to wash my face. Got water on the floor, was wearing flip-flops, and my flip-flops stuck like glue to the floor, and I couldn't lift the flip-flop off the floor because it was stuck there. When I tried to turn, I lost my balance, had nothing to grab on, and that's how I fell. And I was getting ready to go to work that morning. And I thought, oh shit, I'm gonna be a little late. And then 3 hours went by and it got worse. And I'm thinking, maybe I just can't go to work today. I'll just take the day off. I'll go into work, on Friday. Nope, Friday came around, came and went, couldn't do it Friday either. And I've been out of work ever since. But the first week I tried to be happy about it, because it's brand new, but now it's dragging, and I don't want to be sitting in a cast for the rest of the summer. And it's one thing I hate more than anything is when I have an injury and I have to sit there and wait until it's healed, or if I have to sit there and raise it higher than my heart. I don't like doing things like that. I like to stay active, I like to stay busy, but not to the point where it was like before, because now sitting still is more important, doing that in nature, than being active. But if you're active and never have gotten still, you might want to take that in your heart of hearts and see if that serves your highest and best. Because I did it backwards too. And it didn't work out for me so well. I'm screaming right now. I think I need to stop it here, and if you have any comments or questions, you can send it to my email at reinadhabsbyrg@gmail.com, and I'll see you next time.